Hey yo, what is up, everybody? Coach Chad here, the CEO of the Next Level Coaching Academy, and we have a special guest for you guys. His name is Brady, and he is an NLCA student, and he's going to talk about his experience in NLCA. So let's get into it. Let's do it. All right, Brady, welcome in, my man. I think the best way to start this off is just to give a short little introduction of yourself. We're going to dive into your story in NLCA, so you can spare the details there. But who is Brady? Tell us.
Yeah, so I started, my coaching journey a few years ago. Was an athlete my whole life. Always had a passion for just helping people with fitness and health and in general, and a passion for business as well. So yeah, I just wanted to do something on my own. Be independent, have more freedom. So that's kind of what brought me here.
Nice, man. What sport did you play?
I wrestled, so
The
wrestled
hardest
up.
sport.
Yeah, it's a tough sport. But yeah, up until like my freshman year of college, and then I got injured too many times. I actually had a bunch of head injuries, so that caused me to stop and actually, focus more on my health. So then I was able to kind of reciprocate that, help other people with their health as well.
Nice. I did wrestling in middle school, and I just remember it was terribly hard.
Yeah.
I've
Oh,
done a lot of sports, and now I box, and it's very obviously different, like in the tactical side, but like in terms of endurance, it's very similar to wrestling. So I'm just like,
oh
shit,
yeah.
this is
Oh
hard.
yeah. Right. Yeah, I love it.
All
It's
right,
a
man.
good
Well, hey,
time.
let's dive into your story. So what made you want to become an online fitness coach?
Yeah. So really it started my senior year of college. I was, like I said, I didn't want to work for somebody and I wanted the freedom. I never really enjoyed like school and kind of following the status quo. So kind of the same route that most entrepreneurs take. But just because I had the passion for fitness and business in general, I thought, why not just start coaching people? I started looking online, and I think once I started looking at fitness and all this information online, trying to learn myself, I saw other people online coaching, and that kind of sparked my interest. So I started doing that in my senior year of college. And like I said, I've had all those injuries. I had to be really cognizant of my health. So just helping other people with that, and my struggles that I dealt with in my marketing position, being too busy, trying to balance everything, and feeling like I didn't have enough time to really focus on my health. I know a lot of people deal with that. That's kind of my ideal client, is helping those who are super busy and feel like they can't balance everything, like their families, their job, and their health, which is most important. So yeah, that's what really gained my passion. And I needed somewhere to put all my energy. I was, like I said, I was an athlete my whole life, wrestling, and that really, I needed something to take up that space. So working out, fitness, that's what gained my interest in that.
Oh yeah. So senior year of college is when you started that's when you started your online fitness coaching business.
Yes, yeah. So it was like the last couple months of my
Nice.
senior year.
Have you ever had a real job, as they say?
Yes, I've had many. So right after that, I thought, I don't know if I can do this like right away, because I didn't have like the steady stream of income, and that was right after I graduated. So I decided to get a marketing position. In that position, like I said, I was pretty miserable. It was a pretty like strenuous job, working like 9 till 8, and I had an hour commute to Milwaukee every day. So uh, and I also worked on Saturdays, so it was just a really big time commitment, and not as much freedom. And so I moved on from that job. I got I bounced back and forth to other different positions, but basically just always had that fallback. Never fully invested myself like in my business, and because of that, I was just kind of coasting, never reaching my full potential.
Mm. What were some of the mindset barriers that you had in the beginning? So you have one of the biggest objections that we hear, which is time, and we'll dive into that in a minute. But
Yep.
what were some of the big mindset barriers you had?
I think I did have an identity issue where I thought, I wasn't good enough. I thought, why would people listen to me? Why is my coaching worth it? Why can't they go somewhere else? I had all those, I had, the disbelief in myself. So it was just really like doubting myself most of all. And I actually did have a point where I had like 12 clients. Obviously, I was way undercharging, so it was only like 150 a month for those people. So that was an issue. But once I had those clients, I was like, I could do this full time. And then it was really the self doubt, the limiting beliefs that caused me to kind of take a step back. I felt like I couldn't, fulfill what I'd sold to them. So it wasn't until like 5 months ago that I actually started believing myself more, having the confidence. I told you, I've always had these huge goals, but I never had like the conviction, the work ethic, I guess. I did have the work ethic, just not the belief in myself to actually fulfill those goals.
Mm. All right, this is kind of how I like to do the podcast. I always just ask random questions based on how the conversation's going. But what was the big switch for you? Like what was the big aha moment in terms of the mindset barrier stuff?
So I was living with my parents for, at that time after college. And then I just recently moved to Colorado. I'm on my, with my girlfriend and our dog. So I think it was just like the responsibility and wanting to prove that, I won't fail at this, right? I'll succeed at this, and just it's kind of prove something to myself, but to my family as well. And it was really burning those boats, right? I basically gave myself no choice, and obviously there was other things that happened in relation to that, but just moving here really made me, kind of give me the conviction to I have to work hard, right? I have to pay for my mortgage. I have all these responsibilities now to pay for my car, my insurance. So because of that, I think it just gave me more confidence. And honestly, I think of myself as a confident person even beforehand. I think the biggest thing also was just executing, like doing more. I feel like volume is everything, and that's how you learn the most and continue to improve. So I think it was just doing more, more output.
Doing more is always the solution. I want to point out two things that you said, because honestly, as you're telling me your story, our stories are actually very similar. I went to 4 different colleges in 5 years. And then I moved back in with my parents as I was growing my online fitness coaching business. And then my now fiance and I moved to Austin, Texas. And I already had business success up until that point. But when I moved into a different environment, things really exploded for me. So the two things I want to point out is environment change is huge. I lived in a small town in Connecticut. Where did you live in a small town prior to moving to Colorado?
It was a suburb of Chicago. It was kind of big,
Okay.
but
All right.
yeah,
Yeah.
like medium sized.
Yeah, but you were just kind of like stuck living that day-to-day life. It's probably where you went to high school and things of
Yeah.
that nature, right? Yeah. So same thing. So I feel like once you rid yourself of that and like you actually move into like your own environment that you can call yours, I think that's very, very powerful. So very similar to my story. And then lastly, back against the wall mentality, right? You had no other options but to make this work. And I think you kind of self-created that, right? Because you could have stayed home, you could have stayed in the same town that you grew up in, but you decided, hey, that's not going to be aligned with my future self, and you went all in on growing this. All right, I would like to take this a different direction. So prior to NLCA, as you were growing your business, what did you try, and what were your biggest challenges?
Yeah, so I started with a different coach actually when I first started
Really,
coaching.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So
Cool.
I started with a different coach, and it wasn't what I expected or needed. It was just a lot of like cookie cutter stuff, right? Just some modules, not a lot of one-on-one attention. It was mostly like group stuff. So it was missing a lot of those pieces that I needed to continue to move the needle forward with my business. And I did gain a lot of knowledge out of it. Just they didn't give me like easy to implement, like, things to just take my business to the next level right away, and to see those improvements. So yeah, I was with them for a little bit, and then after that, I so you said, what have I tried and what else? So
What have you tried, and what were your biggest challenges prior to NLCA?
okay, so I'd say my biggest challenges were like fulfillment, lead generation, So I think lead gen was like my biggest bottleneck.
Mm.
I had sales experience prior, so I was good at the sales side of things, but I couldn't get people in the door, right? I couldn't get people on the phone. And fulfillment wise, I felt like, again, I had imposter syndrome. So I felt like I couldn't fulfill on what I sold, and I wasn't worthy enough. I shouldn't be, in that leadership position for these people that are like twice my age, so it took a while to kind of change that perspective. I think that was something too that was kind of intimidating. Was I'm coaching these older, very successful men that are like in their 50s, 60s, and why should they be listening to me? Like, why am I the authority, right? But it all comes down to expertise, my experience, and I just had to hone in on that and kind of trust that, I should be, the one to tell them to make them successful. So yeah, I think it was just those two things, like fulfillment, lead generation, honestly, systems. I didn't
Mm.
have like all the systems in place. I was kind of just winging it, as most coaches do to begin with. They just start with the knowledge of fitness and health and don't really know how to run their business efficiently.
Yeah. No, 100%. I'm going to bring back the time piece because you did mention time earlier was a challenge for you because you had a full-time job. You're trying to grow this. How do you feel like you overcame the time piece? Because obviously now you're full-time. What were some things that you focused on when you had limited time?
Yeah, so I'm not a person like, I do not go out. I don't I have like no friends. I'm gonna be completely honest.
Hey, me too.
Yeah, honestly, I'm just working all the time. So I would just spend all my waking hours, outside of that job to focus on my business. I was also helping my friend with like his event business. So it's kind of like balancing all these things, but I kind of spread myself too thin. And I think one of the things that I suffer from, was I think a lot of people do, is productive procrastination, where you know what you have to do, and a lot of times you can do something productive, but it's not necessarily what you need at that moment to move your business forward, right? And I'm now very honest about that because, again, I didn't have a choice, and now I have that perspective of, I have to be honest with myself and just get it done, right? So like I said, lead gen and fulfillment were my bottlenecks. But yeah, so outside of work, I would just focus on like those things. I would focus on learning lead gen. I took all of your free courses, and I would try to go over them as many times as possible to learn the techniques and just the structure that I needed for my business, and try to do it all on my own, which didn't work out well. Like, I think there are some people that can do that, right? But it's that 0.001% of the population, right? Most people, they need that. They need like, they need the structure, they need the accountability, they need the step-by-step plan, and coaching from somebody who's helped, more people than anyone in the industry, right? Be extremely successful. So I think that was something that held me back too, was thinking I could do it all on my own and not getting the knowledge from other people at the next level that I needed to continue to move forward. So now I'm just ready to invest more and more in getting that knowledge as fast as possible, because I know that's what's going to get me to my goal the fastest.
100%. Lots of similarities in our stories, man. Like I said, for about 2.5 years, I thought I could do it on my own, and that just
Right.
created more suffering.
Yeah,
But
exactly. Exactly.
once again, the two, summarizing what you said here in terms of overcoming the time challenge. Number one, you said you were willing to make the trade-offs, right? You said you already were a person that never went out, but you made more sacrifices and prioritized this, which is a consistent theme with individuals that do have that time struggle. The second thing is you prioritize the right things, right? So you prioritize lead generation, sales, fulfillment, and marketing, and all those little things that we do that make us feel good that we're doing them, but don't actually drive results. You were aware enough to put those on the back burner and focus on the actual main needle movers. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's 100% correct.
Boom. I love it. Killing it. All right. We talked about tried. We talked about challenges. All right. Let's finally talk about NLCA. We haven't talked about it yet.
Awesome.
Why NLCA? Why did you choose NLCA?
Yeah, well, like I said, I don't think there's any better coaching business out there. I think I mean I listened to all of your content and you just give so much value, right? And I was like, is this dude crazy? Why is he giving everything away? And
Yes, I
it's
am crazy.
right, but it's awesome. I love it. I took, all of that helped me tremendously, right? It did move my business forward to an extent, but you need the other things to implement in order to move your business forward, like being around other people that are successful, learning from those at the next level to help you with those little tweaks, right, to continue to move your business forward, the systems, all that. So yeah, it was really just your content, right? The just I saw you originally on like Hermosi's story reading like $100 million offers. I think that's when I first saw you. And then off of that, I just watched all your content. You came up again, and then that's when you started like really posting a lot of content. I was like, like this is all so valuable, right? It's just so easily implementable and like not sugar coated, and that's what I loved about it. And that's what I love about NLCA, right? It's like it's like the value equation, right? You minimize effort and sacrifice as much as possible to get to the goal, right? You basically hold your hand, and all you have to do in NLCA is what you say. And if you do it exactly, you're going to be successful. And that's just a fact, right? Because it's a proven successful model. And you're around so many people that have succeeded in the program. Yeah, I think it was just that, seeing other people in the program that had been successful, and I was like, you know what, why can't that be me? Why am I not there? Why I'm not in that position? And it was the belief, that gave me the belief. So that really did change a lot of my limiting beliefs also. But yeah, I mean, it was all of those reasons. So many reasons.
Yeah, I'll have to cut Hermosi the commission check for reposting my post. Not that he needs it or anything. Dude, I love that. Yes, I try to be very direct in my approach. I'm very just cut through the BS, and here's the solution. Admittedly, I don't focus a ton on the mindset stuff. I'm definitely like the implementer type guy. But if you vibe with that, then NLCA is definitely for you. Let's talk about, because you came on our sales meeting the other day and you did a phenomenal job, by the way. I think we closed 5 deals that day, actually. So yeah.
Oh yeah. We actually get a commission check. No.
Maybe so. That literally just popped up into my mind. But you gave a really great message about investing in yourself. And we won't get into the investment numbers, but you could refer to it as a high investment. I have no problem with that. But talk about how that helped you.
Yeah. So prior to being in NLCA, well, no, it was like the first. So I joined NLCA, and 2 days later, I got let go from my job. And in that time period, I like, even when I did have my job, I couldn't pay for both all my expenses and my mortgage with just my income from my job. So I was already, not making enough money to get by. And then 2 days later, I get let go. So basically all my ships are burned, right? And making that investment in myself gave me more conviction than I basically have had in my entire life. Again, I always knew what I had to do, but I never did it to its fullest extent and in the volume I needed to. And at that point, and moving from then forward, now I have the conviction, I have the confidence, and the commitment to, cut through the BS and do what I really have to do to move my business forward, rather than the productive procrastination like I had been for so long, right? Because I had that fallback of my previous positions and I was just coasting. And I feel like, this is something that all these coaches that are listening to this need to hear, is they're stuck in that cycle, right, of falling back on their other job, coasting with their business, never fully investing in their business. And you're inevitably going to be there forever until so far down the line you realize, I've wasted all this time and all this effort, and you'll give up on your dream, right? So if your dream really matters that much to you, then you'd be willing to do whatever it takes and take the investment necessary to get to the next level. And the fastest way to do that is investing in knowledge from people that have been through all of that, right? Because they've experienced all of that. They've been where you are, and paying for that, right? So that you can get there faster. So, we say this to all of our clients. We say, the more you invest, the more successful you'll be. You say that to your coaching clients. So why don't we believe in that ourselves? Like, right? Why don't we go through on that ourselves? And that's something that I've really questioned a lot about recently, is like, all these things I tell to my clients, they're true, but I never like fully believed them myself and took those actions myself. So, do what you say, like, yeah, do what you, yeah, exactly. Practice what you preach. So, I guess, if that's like, that was the biggest thing that had me on the fence that's the biggest thing that gave me the conviction, was putting that investment in and having no other choice but to, put food on the table, pay my mortgage.
Yeah, dude. I wrote some notes. That was great, by the way. It kind of comes back to the backs against the wall mentality, right? That we were talking about earlier. I think two other really powerful questions that we teach our sales team when we are trying to help people fulfill on their dreams is, what happens if you don't? And what happens if you do? And I think those are two questions that a lot of people don't ask themselves, because sometimes we get so caught up in the day-to-day minutia that we live, that we don't think about 5 years from now and how the actions and choices we make now affect your future self. So I do think those are two very powerful questions. I'll say them again. What happens if you don't fulfill on this dream? And then what happens if you do? You mentioned one other thing that I didn't jot a note down that I'm forgetting. Oh yeah. Practicing what you preach. That's another thing we teach our sales team too. I mean, sales is about leadership, right? And we're trying to lead people to the dream and promise that they've made for themselves. And that's something that we've been really preaching recently is, man, we tell people all the time, like, if you don't have time, you still got to work out, right? You still got to show it for yourself. But
Exactly.
You did a great job challenging the audience here to question themselves, like, are you doing the same in your life and in your business and in areas that you would consider weak? And I felt that was beautifully said. So nice job.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
You mentioned earlier that fulfillment and lead gen were some of your big challenges. How do you feel like NLCA has helped you with that? And really quick, actually, we haven't said it yet. Tell us about your success, man. Tell us some.
Yeah. Oh yeah, this is boring. No kidding. Awesome. So yeah, my first 2 weeks I made $97.50, and that was I was making less than
$9,750. Right.
Yes, 9,750, and I was making like $2,000 per month previous to that. So basically 5x that amount that I made in a month in 2 weeks. And then my first 30 days in NLCA, I made $17,800.
Woo!
Which
Holy shit. We going
it's
on vacation or what?
no, I'll probably just work more. No, but honestly, like, those numbers, they don't seem real coming out of my mouth, and I know a lot of people feel the same way. It's like, how can they don't feel like that will ever come out of their mouths. And I listened to this podcast, and the thing I listened to most was the testimonials, the transformations, right? And that just gave me so much motivation. I was like, why can't I be one of those people? Like, why not you, right? So that's what got me to this point, right? And I'm continuing to put those numbers out too. Like this month, I made 5,500 last week, and looking to hit 20K this month.
Let's go. Master coach is on the horizon for you, my man.
Yes, sir.
Are you in VIP or a certified coach? Forgive me.
Certified coach.
Certified coach. Hell yeah. So have you started ads yet?
I have not, and I wanted to talk to you about this. My Facebook account is blocked from ads.
No way. How? Why?
So I helped a friend with his event advertising because his account was blocked, and then mine got blocked.
Okay. Damn. All right. Can you just create a new Facebook page?
I guess, yeah, I could try that.
Yeah, that would probably be the workaround. Peter, our ads guy for NLCA. We offer his services to our students. His like application is in the ads module. He could probably find a workaround for you, but my best guess is he would probably suggest just creating another Facebook page. The only thing there is you want to make sure that phone number's different, email's different.
Right.
If there's any trace, they'll just shut it down right away. Even credit card, the credit card on the original one, credit card on the new one. You just want to make sure nothing's traceable between those two accounts.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I thought about that. And I was like, what number can I use? I guess I can just use like my girlfriend or something. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Just be careful. You don't want to have anything that's like resemblant, but you should be okay. You should be fine.
Okay. Awesome. That's great to hear. That was one of my questions.
Yeah, no, of course. Circling back. So obviously tremendous success. You're killing it. By the way, congratulations on that. Biggest challenges that you mentioned earlier were fulfillment and lead generation. How do you feel like NLCA helped you overcome those?
Oh, they're my strengths now. So yeah, like I said, you're very, very transparent, straightforward, give step-by-step, implementable advice to improve those things, right? And improve fulfillment, lead gen, sales, anything you need with your business. So when it came to the modules, I would just go over them multiple times a day and just figure out repeat successful actions, right? Because that's what everyone in the program, that's how you get all of your clients, right? Is mostly through those, the DM outreach, right? And that lead gen strategy has been, tremendous for me. Just learning the technique, more volume, right? Just learning how to improve the outbound messaging. And then fulfillment wise, you gave me all the systems, right? I had no systems previously. I didn't even know where to start. I feel like most people don't. And giving me all of that, it gave me more time to focus on getting people in the door. And once I did have people, I wasn't overwhelmed, right? I was able to confidently fulfill versus beforehand when I had the identity issue, right? I wasn't able to fulfill because I didn't know where to start. And I had no experience as a coach, and learning from you and all these people that have been so successful with their businesses, coaching hundreds of people, right? And I only had 10. What's my excuse, right? So learning those strategies really gave me the confidence, and now they're my strengths. I made my weaknesses my strength.
Hell yeah. Have you done any of the other 5 lead gen methods? You mentioned conversations to calls or DM outreach. Have you tapped into any of the others?
Yes. Yeah. So the earned media, I do that a lot. Can't think of not.
Have you done the affiliate strategy yet?
Huh?
Have you done the affiliate strategy yet? That's kind of later on in the course.
No, I haven't done the affiliate strategy.
Cool. Not that you don't have to. I'm just generally curious if you've
tapped. Yeah. No, I have to. I definitely have. Yeah, I want to tap in more lead gen strategies for sure.
So cool that you've gotten so successful with and you're just scraping the surface on what's possible in terms of other strategies. I think that's really cool. Sweet, man. Well, dude, we've gone longer than my normal podcast time, which is awesome. That means that we're rocking and rolling here. I just got one more question for you. You've done a great job of challenging the audience. I think we do one more challenge. Anybody that's on the fence, maybe they're scared to invest or they're scared to step into the promises that they've made of making this their full-time venture. What would you say to individuals on the fence right now?
Is the risk like is
I like how you, sorry to interrupt you, but I like how you didn't just say just do it, because I feel like everyone's just like just do it. I'll let you go. I'll let you finish that. Good start.
I wanted it to be different, yeah. But I'd say is the risk more important than the reward? So I'm sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to word this.
Are you,
if you don't succeed, is the cost of not succeeding higher than the cost of the program? And that's honestly what I had to contemplate myself, right? I was just telling myself I can do this on my own, right? You're going to continue to tell yourself that for years and years, again, until you're so far down the line that you give up on your dreams. So the faster you make the investment into the best coaching company on, on the earth, the best fitness and nutrition coaching company out there, the faster you get to your goals. And all these people that you hear on the podcast, you listen to these testimonials, why can't that be you, right? Just ask yourself that, honestly. It totally can be. And I was in that position myself, questioning that. And until I had the confidence and the conviction to, finally get on the call, I just had enough, right? And for some people, enough is 10 years down the line. So for some people, enough is a couple months. You decide what enough is. But I chose enough a couple months ago, and that was the best decision in my life. I should have chose it sooner, right? I should have made that decision faster, and that would have gotten me to my goals faster. I would be, further down the line now. So the faster you make the investment, the faster you get to your goals.
Yeah. Shorten the tolerance of enough. I love
Exactly.
that. That's great. That's great. Brady, you kicked the shit out of this podcast. Thank you for popping on. Let's leave the people with this. Where can they find you?
Yeah. So I'm the Conquer Club on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, just Brady Jamrosic. But the Conquer Club is my fitness business. So
there you go, y'all. The Conquer Club. Brady, thank you.